Really interesting from Zamir White during the combine in Indianapolis, talked about his time at Georgia. And the biggest quote is the one I'm going to read here. I'll say they built me to the man I am. Like Coach Smart and the whole system, it's great there. They build players to pros. The practices, the weightlifting, the meetings, we train just like pros there. That's true. No, I don't think there's any question. They built me to the man I am. Now, let's not forget about Zamir White's struggle, just in life, right? I mean, to get to 6 months old, right? Cleft palate, other medical conditions. It was tough, and over time, he developed into a guy that was very gifted in terms of the ability to play football, run track, stuff like that. And fast forward to 2017, and Zamir is coming down to his, where he's going to school. And the 25th or 6th, he picks Georgia over Carolina, and I think Alabama. I can't remember who else it was. And then I go watch him play. Of course, I had been around Zamir a little bit before that, just for photo shoots, watching him run track, stuff like that. And to go watch him play, it was one of the most exceptional high school football players I've ever seen. The performance was, I mean, just not common. And I mean, Eric Gilbert was the same way. AJ Green. I mean, these were guys who put on shows when I went to go watch them play. So when Zamir got hurt coming out of Scotland High School in Laurenburg, that changed everything moving forward. And then, of course, he suffered an ACL, I want to say soon thereafter, but soon after. I can't remember exactly when it was, but before he ever played it down. So he didn't start playing until 2018. And the Zamir that I saw and everyone saw growing up in Laurenburg, that wasn't the same person we saw at Georgia the entire time. It was a different type of player. But I think the biggest thing that we're talking about when Zamir says they built me to the man I am, I wonder how much that Zamir, I don't know about realized, but the reality came to him that, hey, I've had these injuries, I can't go back and not have the injuries anymore. I'm the running back I am right now, and there's nothing I can do about that. And honestly, there's a lot of good with that. When you look at Zamir's time at Georgia, and you look at the the fight he had, his struggle to get to where he had to go, it was always about Georgia. It wasn't really about Zamir. Think back to the Arkansas game. Two times against Arkansas, made special teams plays that changed games. Uh, it felt like Georgia was going to lose to Arkansas in the opener of the 2020 season. That game was the most surreal, strangest football game of any type I've ever been to. And at the beginning of when the game started turning around, it was Zamir's blocked punt, I think it was, that got Georgia going. And Stetson hadn't really gotten rolling at that point. The offense was kind of sputtering around. But when they blocked that kick, then they scored a touchdown. Then Eric Stokes had a touchdown on an interception for a touchdown, and Georgia took over. Fast forward to this past year. And this play here, now this is Dan Jackson busting through, okay? All right, to get that block. That's a great shot, if I do say so myself. And guess who jumps on top of it? Zamir. And I remember asking Kirby after that game about, Zamir and what he meant to Georgia's team, just the program, whatever you want to call it. And I can't remember the exact quote, but Kirby was talking about how critical it was that when one of your star running backs is playing special teams and is scoring touchdowns on punt block, that just shows where you're at kind of as a program and what kind of kid that Zamir is. By the way, you pick up DAWGSTRUCTION down below. Make sure you're grabbing that before I go to a third run of books. I'm already on the second run. Um, Zamir and James Cook never, we didn't hear quarreling. There was never, I didn't hear that ever behind the scenes with those two. They are quiet guys that made impacts. One flashier than the other, no question. I mean, but you didn't want any part of Zamir as the season went on. I mean, he was a bruising, powerful running back. And honestly, he probably helped himself with that 40-yard dash. I don't expect him to run again at Georgia. We are so um, data driven and explosive driven in the NFL in terms of where guys go that 40s, benches, and everything they test on, it does matter. Now, it's not everything, but it does matter a lot, and it shows that you're willing to do all the work to get that great run. And for Zamir, a guy that running backs really should never go in the first round. But anyway, for a guy that was the best running back in the country in his class to have to fight his way through, yeah, they built him to the man he is. But 17-year-old Zamir was driven too. He was driven to have better, not just for not just for himself, but for his mother, okay, and for his family. Um, and you know, I think if you, Laurenburg is a part of the country that has tremendous support for its high school athletics, but Laurenburg is not indifferent than the rest of a lot of the South. It's tough there sometimes. I mean, it's a tough go, and there's not a lot of easy jobs there. And I think Zamir wants, this is me speaking for Zamir. Zamir wants greatness. And I think that's something that is tough to deal with and challenge yourself with when you do legitimately have adversity. I mean, those ACLs were a legit adverse situation for Zamir, and it threatened the future that he was trying to develop. I think he knew that there were no, if nothing else, after you have ACLs like that, you know that no future that you've got is a certain one. Although I think he probably knew a lot of that beforehand because of what he dealt with growing up. Now, the people in Laurinburg love him, period. They love him, and they always have. But I think that now he has the opportunity after 4 great years at Georgia. I mean, Zamir won the national championship at Georgia. He was one of the reasons why Georgia won the national championship. And for all of for all of James's explosions, for Keeley's great play, for all that other stuff, when your number one running back is the consummate team guy, so much so, I don't think I have a single image of Zamir White in here. That is shameful. Um, that doesn't take away my admiration for him. He's one of my favorite Georgia Bulldogs of all time. But that he managed to escape being in this publication shows that he did all the dirty work. That's all there is to it. I mean, the guy did all the dirty work that nobody wanted to do. Zamir, I'm sorry I didn't get you in DAWGSTRUCTION, but it should prevent everybody else from checking the link out below. He has grown into a man, and now we'll see where he takes it from here. Hey, check out the book down below. We'll see you on the website.